The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the pit complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield for 4. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Thanks to the wonders of helium, we look down from the blimp gondola at St. Lawrence River, Notre Dame Island, and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which will play host to Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. This afternoon, it is round 10 of 12 on the Season 4 calendar, and all the action from both the 40-minute opening feature and the 25-minute sprint that follows can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Bon après-midi from the beautiful province, Quebec, Canada. Welcome and hello to GSRC's Countdown to Green. I'm Bill Soupson. Helping me call the action is the Australian sage Richard Losper. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, the doctor of pits topology himself, Amjad Yaman, with camera locations created exclusively for GSRC by its in-house director of photography, Dougie Beard. If you were with us last time from Laguna Seca, you saw Uni Slavasi take another step to defending his Season 3 crown. It was Gunnar Nienhuis picking up his first pole of the season, outpacing Slavasi by 0.2 of a second around dusty Laguna Seca. The Fusion Motorsports driver led the first 18 laps until he pitted. 6 laps later, after Slavasi pitted, Nienhuis found himself back in the lead, which he held to the very end, his second feature race win of this season. Slavasi took second, Jeroen Kwekel started fourth and came home in third, falling a few more points behind Slavasi, who Kwekel is chasing for the championship. 17 drivers finished on the lead lap of the feature, with Luke White on the pole for the sprint event. The favorite to win, however, was Manuel Hoyer, whose horrible qualifying attempt in the feature forced him to make a charge from 34th to 16th, putting him outside of White on the sprint race's front row. Hoyer, who had won a sprint race earlier in the season, found trouble early, forcing him well down the running order. Luke White took and held the lead for the first dozen laps until he had a costly off-track. Jean-Francois Gaudin started fifth, was second by lap 9, and got to the lead 2 laps later after White's misfortune. Gaudin went on to the checkered flag for his second sprint race win of the season. Fusion's Phil Reed, who had climbed all the way from 8th, finishing behind Gaudin. Slavasi's second place in the feature gridded him 16th. Nevertheless, he was able to claw his way to 3rd. White came home in 6th behind Patrick Kessler and Robert Plumley. So, who was the overall big winner in California? Even though he didn't earn a win in either the feature or the sprint race, a second and a third earned Slavasi 44 points, 19 more than his nearest rival, Jeroen Kwekel. Make note of Fusion Racing's Gunnar Nienhuis and Phil Reed in second and third. It will pay dividends in the team championship. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Gaudin's sprint race win placed him in a tie for third. Now, Richard, the end grows near. 2 more races after this one, but right now the only thing on the minds of these drivers is Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Very good day to you, Bill, and to all our viewers as well. Salute Gilles Villeneuve from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And this is a track located in Montreal in Quebec on Notre Dame Island, a man-made island in the St. Lawrence River. It's built in 1978. There have been many Grand Prix, 37 in fact, since 1978. It is just about the only race that takes place these days at Montreal. We call it Montreal for short. And of course, the fact that iRacing stages racing at any time on this track is obviously something good, because the track gets a little bit more use. 13 turns on this track, 4.361 kilometers or 2.7 miles. It is a track that's not to my fancy, but many love this track. Let's have a look at a lap guide so all the viewers can see what we're talking about.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman of the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Montreal.
Coming down to turn 1, this seems like a great passing opportunity on the surface, but the way the track switches back into a hairpin makes it very difficult to complete the overtake, no matter which side you're on. Making sure you can get to the power early is really going to be the important aspect of the Senna S anyway. As the track gently curves to the right, hold to the left side as we approach turn 3. We'll have a fast entry into the chicane, but the exit is the worrisome part because there's just a wall and nothing else to the outside. Then 5 is a flat-out left-right flick, but hug the right side of the track so that you can straight line the braking for 6. Do your best to open up the second apex because this will dump us onto the backstretch where you're on the power for a decent amount of time. The main thing here is to keep an eye out for the bridge because it'll give you a frame of reference on where you can line up the car to brake into turn 8. The curbs on the inside of the chicane are pretty tall, so be careful about how hard you hit them. Once again, exit speed is critical, and especially here. We're now heading into the casino hairpin, which is the only braking zone that isn't a chicane. That makes it the most straightforward place to attempt to pass. But because it's so slow into this sharp 180-degree bend, it's very common to see drivers outbrake themselves at this corner. That's where an over-under comes in handy to really frustrate your opponents. From here, it's the longest flat-out portion of the track, plunging us directly into the tightest chicane on the track. This is easily the most popular overtaking spot on the track. The draft will rear you in, and the heavy braking makes it seem possible to send one up the inside. But be careful of the wall of champions. Take too much curb and you could find yourself plastered all over that infamous concrete. Hopefully, you were able to keep the car off it, and as we come to the line, we've now finished a lap around Montreal.
I'm Jed Yaman behind the wheel, Joe Peak behind the mic, taking us a lap around the tight confines here at Montreal. And now let's take a lap around the point standings, and once again, as I say every week, keep in mind that these points reflect the 2-drop events that the rules allow for and are being seen for the first time anywhere right here on GSRC. Looking at the driver championships, privateer Uni Slavasi has stretched his lead from 6 to 21 and now 36 points over Origin Front Row Racing's Jeroen Kwekel. Fusion Motorsports' Gunnar Nienhuis has climbed around Christian Tkach into 4th and has visions of catching TNT's Hugo Prado for 3rd. Moving to the team championship, there is a change at the top. Now, we mentioned Nienhuis and Reed's success at Laguna Seca. Well, you can see how that is paid off here as Fusion moves around Origin Front Row Racing for the lead, albeit by a single point. Kwekel's teammate Dan Brewer has missed the last 4 events, and the 1-2 punch of Nienhuis and Reed is probably too much for Kwekel to fend off alone, so he's hoping that Brewer can come back and join the hunt. A solo effort of Hugo Prado for TNT holds station in 3rd. Then you got Evo Motorsports' Rene Osterkamp and Manuel Hoyer. They stay in 4th ahead of their sister team, Evo Sonic, powered by Andy Cowie and Jean-Francois Godin, coming off his 2nd sprint race win of the season. Now, Richard, we've reviewed the last round. We've introduced the track, gone over the driver and team championships. Let's talk a little bit about these series and race details.
Certainly, Soup. As we do at this time of the broadcast, this is season number 4, and this is round 10. You said it earlier, how this season has flown by, round 10 out of 12. So this is one of the last 3 rounds in the season. The drivers are allowed to drop 2 events, as has been mentioned already. The car is the fabulous Formula Renault. It has a 2-liter engine, 4-cylinder, 16-valve, naturally aspirated engine. The power it produces is 210 bhp at 7,500 revs. So a pretty good engine, and it will raise the speeds of these cars very, very high. Approaching 160, 170, in fact 180 kilometers an hour and faster. So a great car. The setups that the drivers are using are open. They have 40% fuel at their disposal, about 20 liters. The format is 2 races per event, a 40-minute feature race and a 25-minute sprint race. Each race has its own winner. It's a separate race, but of course the points are tallied together for the day to find the eventual winner. The starts are standing starts, which is interesting because these tires are known to take a little while to heat up, and there's no time to heat up tires for a standing start. No fast repairs as you would expect in a professional league. The incident cap is implemented. They are different for the feature and sprint races. The feature will have slightly more. Bill will explain that in a minute. The weather is dynamic, and it actually carries over from a previous practice session, and today it is a clear track, 38 degrees on the track itself, 25 degrees air temp, and we're talking about Celsius. The winds are from the southwest at 10 kilometers per hour, and the humidity is 61%, so a warmish track. And those are the details for today, Bill.
Now I'll go over actually the format details. This is actually what we have in store. Right now there is a 2-lap lone qualifying that the drivers are putting in right now, and I can report that we thought that Uni Slavasi might be sandbagging a little bit. He's qualified in second, Jeroen Kwekel up ahead of him. So the top two guys in championship, 1 and 2 right now. Now the feature race is going to come up. That's what they're qualifying for. That's a 40-minute race. We expect it to have one stop. They're going to be gridded sequentially by how they qualify. There is an incident cap, 13 X's, and they lose half of their race points, 17 X's, and they are DQ'd. And then they have the standard feature points. Then, this is the intriguing part of this series. After that, we take a short break, and what they are going to do is run a 25-minute sprint race. That'll have no stops. Now, the way they grid that is they inverse grid the field based on all the drivers who finished on the lead lap of the feature race. So if you're last on the lead lap, you're going to be sitting on the pole. If you win the featured race, you're going to be the last car gridded behind all the guys on the lead lap. There is an instant cap for that one as well, 13x, just like the other one. This time you don't lose half your points, you get DQ'd. And then the points are slightly reduced. You don't earn quite as much for the sprint race win as you do for the longer, more important opening featured race. Now, let's talk about incident points a little bit here, Richard. You know, with all the walls and everything, there's not a lot of places to go off. One of the interesting things about Montreal is this track actually holds the record for the most drivers to put in a clean race all the way through. That happened a few years ago when they were racing the Pro Mazda. They were able to get 7 drivers who were perfect, never went off here. And that's one of the things with these tight confines. You got to be careful because the walls are pretty close, aren't they?
Well, that's right. And the drivers will take extra care in negotiating, particularly some of these chicanes that they have on the track. Also, bear in mind, this car is grippy. There is no real reason why you should get any incidents unless you're trying to overtake or you're trying to avoid an accident, because this car is conducive to safe driving. But it's inevitable that incidents will take place. So that's why the incident cap is there, and let us hope that all of the drivers can stay within the incident cap. We hate to lose any drivers, particularly in that sprint event, just due to the fact that they have too many incidents.
Yeah, well, let's talk about some of the chicanes here. And basically, while we were doing the lap guide, you and I were both talking about the pit entrance here, which is really fun. Now, I want you viewers not to spill your drink while you're watching the race. You will see sometimes it look like a driver might miss his braking point for what is that final chicane, a 12 and 13 right there before the wall of champions. But Richard, what'll happen is this is a unique pit entrance. You get to enter full speed down that straight. You don't have to turn for it.
Yeah, that's right. So if you see somebody flying into what looks like a missed turn, as Bill has just said, at 170 kilometers an hour, is just entering the pits. Don't panic.
And then the pit exit dumps you out. That could be weird too, right there. It dumps you out right into the racing line.
That's right. It's turn number. Is it turn number 1? I want to say that.
I think it dumps you out at the beginning of what's called Senna, that kind of carousel that they have there. It's turn 2, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Turn number 1 is actually the left, right combination.
The left one, right?
Yeah, and then you come right out. But so you have drivers joining the track from the pits, right in the middle of a turn that drivers are coming in. Luckily, it's a slow speed turn, but it's still pretty awkward, and it's not ideal. Let's just put it that way.
All right, looks like qualifying is just wrapping up right now as they have a few seconds to go. We have quite a big field here today. Pretty impressive for a series. Here we are round number 10, Richard, and we still have 31 drivers here. That shows you how well organized and how dedicated these guys are. Let's go ahead and bring up the grid right now. Since this is a standing start, we kind of have to hustle through it. On the pole, it is Jeroen Kwekel. Now, he's trying to run down Eunice Lavasi. They sit on the front row. Christian Koch and Renee Osterkamp make up row 2. Kerry Nolden and Gunnar Nienhuis at 5th and 6th. Former champion Phil Reed sits in front of the milkman Andy Cowie in 8th position. And Patrick Kessler and Christian DeCatch make up row number 5. Richard?
And row number 6 is Richie Arnault and Hugo Prado. Then row number 7, Christoph Holstein and Lawrence de Rijk. And then we go to row number 8, which is Darren Potter and Yannick Nienhuis. Row number 9, Ty McLeod and Luke White, who have shown us some exciting racing in the past. And row 10, Evan Imre and Adam Tierney, another exciting pair.
And then the last 6 rows, Dylan Hember and Lee Robinson. Behind them, Jarno Hertz and Robert Sugar Plumley in the 24th position. Knut Martinson and Sarah Dove sits in 26th position. The next row, Stephen the Flying V Chambers and Frederick Beckman make up the 27th and 28th spot. Vittorio Saltalamacchia in the 29th spot. Sylvia Hurt in 30th, and the last car on the grid, newcomer. He hasn't raced much with us. Welcome to the series, Mark Forte. We hope you certainly do have a strong race today. Okay, that is the 31 drivers. They are pretty much out there right now. Now, Richard, getting through, avoiding the big one right away has been the issue. It gets pretty tight confines coming up, so hopefully they'll be able to negotiate the left-hander and then the center carousel. We can hear that the lights are up, the cars start to harmonize right now. Keep an eye on your leader there. He is Jeroen Kwekel on the pole. He is trying to finish ahead of Eunice Lavasi in the points championship. Lavasi gets a bad jump, making a move for from third position back there, trying to get in there. That's Christian Koch. He gets in there. It's very close. It's Koch and Lavasi go side by side. Looks like Lavasi's going to have the preferred position. Gets second position. Koch back into third. Fourth and fifth are going to be Osterkamp and Nolden. Side by side is Nienhuis and Reed. Richard?
Yeah, and a nice start from everybody, but there's a car going off, and Christian DeCatch involved in an accident there with another car, and he's off track. So we'll come back to those ones there, but just as I said, a good start, and I'm looking from 10th place with Christian DeCatch. He's had an accident and he's in the pits right now. As is Richie Arnault. Probably Richie Arnault was the other driver.
Yeah, he got turned over. We'll come back and get the review on that. It was Arnault who got turned right over, and right in front of him, right at Christopher Holstein, pretty much Christoph Holstein had to stop. We'll have a review of that later, but right now up in front, we follow the battle for the lead, and it looks like the Earthquake pulling away right now. He has about a 7/10 of a second lead over Lavasi. Then Koch right behind him. Koch and Lavasi were side by side. They got that straightened out. Osterkamp running in fourth, Nolden in fifth. Then a pair of teammates back there, Nienhuis and Reed, running for Fusion Motorsports. Remember, that team has taken over the lead in the point standings right now. They do not want to get together. Reed running in seventh. The Milkman behind them trying to look onto the back of Reed right now. As they head down the straight. Go ahead, Rich.
Yep, and it looks as if they're being followed by Andy Cowie, Patrick Kessler in 9th place, and 10th place now, Hugo Prater. So that's your top 10 as they come to finish lap number 1. Bearing in mind, of course, there's a pit stop to come in this race, but all pretty much single file now with Jeroen the Earthquakel up ahead and in the command of this race at the moment.
They work their way around the hairpin now as the leaders go down the Casio straight, working towards 12 and 13. Now this straight kind of winds back and forth, but they're really not calling those any corners here, I don't believe. And I guess 11 is a corner in there. Now they come up through this section and they head out on. Now they're going out onto the Casio straight. Let me get that straight now. There we go. There's that little bit of a jog there as they come up, go through the underpass.
And Bill, keep an eye here on 2nd and 3rd place. That's Eunice Lavasi and Christian Koch. Christian Koch looking a little exy as they head down into this hairpin turn here. And Christian Koch would like the position that Eunice Lavasi's got at the moment. He was very, very close coming into the second chicane there, but for the moment he's holding station. But now they go down the long back straight, and he's got an opportunity now, does Christian Koch. He gets shown the outside, so he goes around the outside of Eunice Lavasi as they come into the last chicane. What will happen? Will Uni defend? No, Uni sits back there and allows Koch to go into second place. Jeroen Kwekel still leading.
Pair of champions getting together there. We go back, we look at this battle with Oosterkamp.
And he's also trying to take that position from Uni Silvasti. So Uni under attack by, first of all, third place and now fourth place, trying to grab his position.
Chambers has had a spin, and everyone's getting around him right now in the second chicane here. He was on the outside making a move. He was on the outside of Robert Plumley. Plumley might have got into the little bit of his right rear, turned him around a little bit. It's hard to go too wide through that section. And now, Richard, we're going to go back and look at the start here.
Yeah.
Now, you can keep in mind, as we watch this, viewers, you can see that watch as Slavasi had a horrible start from the inside, from the outside position, second in line there. Koch made a move on them. They go side by side. Then the whole field managed to negotiate around this is Senna here, the second corner. Then we got into trouble a little bit later as some of these guys got in here with Ricard Arnault had trouble. You'll see him get on his roof. Follow there, you can see it. You can see the smoke up ahead there. Look at the cars bunch up behind him, and they wait. There's Arnault turned over. And now we'll go back live. So, Richard, they had a little incident. We lost 2 drivers, but not the big one that everyone fears.
Okay, let's go back to Oosterkamp versus Uni Silvasti. He's been harassing him. They go to complete another lap there, lap number 4. It has a look on the inside. They're going into turn 1. Decides not a great place to try it. Now they go around turn 2 and they start moving to the first, I guess you can call it a chicane of sorts. Which is turns 3 and 4. So
Ty McLeod, I'm sorry to interrupt. Ty McLeod was in a battle for 15th position. He was right behind, I think, Darren Potter. He had a self-spin, put that car up. Look at this is going in. I think this is just finishing. I think it's 1 actually as he comes in here. Looking at McLeod. Now McLeod's a pretty strong driver. You can see that luckily he didn't catch anybody, and he kind of spits right in front of the car. That's one of the things that's happened here in pit lane. You come out, you can not only get in an issue with cars having trouble as you exit pit lane.
Yep, that was an awkward moment there for Ty McLeod, but looks as if he's gathered it up again. And I'm sticking with the front group here now, and it looks as if Kerry Nolden from 4th position is starting to catch the trio in front of him. And of course, there's this battle going on between Oosterkamp and Uni Silvasti, which is slowing both of them down just a little bit, and that's not allowing them to catch up to Christian Koch in front of them. And then, of course, look at
Oosterkamp and Nolden having an issue there. My goodness, Nolden trying to make a move through that final chicane. They don't get it done.
Was that Nolden or Silvasti?
There was Nolden working. It was Nolden working, and Nienhuis and Nolden going at it there.
Nienhuis and Nolden. Okay.
Yeah, with Nienhuis making the move.
Yep, he's caught up as well. This is good to see. So your top 6 drivers at the moment, not that far from each other, and with these chicanes, they will be able to. You'll see the concertina effect. So we might see all of them bunched up and racing for position, which will be very exciting for the viewers, as they are currently single file with Jeroen Kwekel having a 2.5 second gap. We've seen this before, Bill, with Jeroen just grabbing a race by the scruff of the neck and getting out there with a 2 second plus lead early on.
Yeah, he's out there cooking with hot fish grease right now. He's opened up a 2.5 second lead over Koch. Now, Koch has also pulled away from Slavasi. We noticed during practice that Slavasi was not high in the charts, and then sure enough, when qualifying is all done, there he is sitting in second. But I don't think that the unit is comfortable in the track right now, as he's being challenged by Oosterkamp. Renault looking for a way around him. That's a battle for 3rd position.
That's right. And we just saw him come out of the hairpin there.
Here it is.
Looking very comfortable. Here comes the pass on the inside. I think he's going to give it up. Uni Silvasti is a very smart driver. He's got his eye on the big picture all the time, it seems to me, Bill. So he's thinking championship. He's not going to, throw away a championship over one corner.
But look at this now. what happened was that Oosterkamp took it in really deep into the 12-13 chicane, did not get a good exit through the wall of champions, and Slavasi came back at him but didn't have enough. So I think pretty much now Oosterkamp has that position locked into third position. We'll see if Slavasi can stay behind him. He's got Richard about a second lead over another champion, Kerry Nolden, who's trying to run those guys down.
Yeah, and Kerry Nolden is not got any problems right at the minute, but lurking behind Kerry Nolden is Gunnar Nienhuis, who of course was the feature race winner last time out. So these are your top 6 drivers. Then just 1.8 seconds back, we've got Kessler and Reed not that far behind as well. Hugo Preto now in 9th place, and then just rounding out the top 10, Andy Cowie. So they're all pretty even at the moment, with Cowie 12 seconds behind the leader of the race. That's 10th place. So this is shaping up to be a very good race. And now Gunnar Nienhuis, Bill, being followed by his teammate and partner. Was that an overtake there? No, he's trying to grab the position from Nolden. The cars look a little similar if you're looking from the rear. So here we go, down the front straight. Nolden defensive, shows the outside to Gunnar, and they're very close to each other. Nolden kind of squeezes Gunnar there. I don't like that kind of driving, because these are open wheel cars and the wheels can get locked up here, Bill. Gonna come in again as they complete the lap, but once again he's on the outside.
Oh,
Look
they
at that.
almost touch.
I told you, this is what I'm referring to, Bill. That's just, that's awkward.
I think they did a good job, just what you said there, Richard. I think they actually interlocked wheels. I don't think they got any damage from either one of them. We can report that Stephen the Flying V Chambers, one of our favorite drivers to have in the interview, has had trouble early, and he's looked like he's put it in the pits right now. Will not be finishing on the lead lap today, so don't expect much out of him for the sprint that's going to follow. But right now, Nolan running in 5th, Nienhuis behind him.
Yeah, Nienhuis very anxious to make the pass. Now, most of the track is single file because of those chicanes, the first half of the track, I would say. But once they come out of the hairpin, Bill, then you've got a very long straight where the guys can have a go at each other. And we've seen that. We've seen Silvasti under attack there. Now we are seeing Nolden under attack. I'm keeping an eye on this battle. Not sure if there's a battle further up front there, although Silvasti is pretty close to Oosterkamp there. Oosterkamp doing a fantastic job today.
This really is the best battle on the track. Let's stay on it a little bit longer. I've been watching one back at 17th between Emery and Plumley, but it's not nearly as exciting as right here. And here comes the pass now. Look at this. Oh my gosh, and they get together.
Not a fan of what Nolden just did there, I have to say.
So
that squeezing tactic, Bill, and they interlocked wheel once again, as we see on the replay, and unfortunately they came together, and it was Nienhuis that got bumped up. Have a look.
Yeah, now you could argue that I'm not sure why Nienhuis he had so much more room to his left on the track. I think he could have given Nolden a little more room, unless, boy, it's...
You
Nolden
think?
Seemed to be...
I think Nolden
you think he drifted
on
on him?
half of the track, if you ask me.
That's a good. Well, that's interesting. You know, we have it looked like Kerry was going pretty straight there, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say on that
we
one.
We leave that to the IRT. We try not to get involved in these decisions. We are just here to report on what we see.
I think both. I think we interviewed both drivers, they might have a different perspective. Each one of them might have a different take on that one. Certainly, I think they could have given each other more room. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I think so as well. And let's just have a look. Where did Gunnar Nienhuis finish up? He's out of the race. He's out. Oh, that's a rage quit if you ask me. A rage quit is when a driver is disgusted with what's just taken place and decides, I will not race any further. So Gunnar Nienhuis out of the race alongside Stephen Chambers and of course Christian Takac, who on lap 1 got the short end of the stick. So 3 very, very good drivers on the sidelines at the moment, Bill.
Well, Nienhuis was upside down. So I mean, his car was, he wasn't coming back anyway. But I think he exited out. I think he actually incidented. I can't imagine he would incident so early, but maybe The car went away before it even stopped rolling on its hood there. So either way, he is out of this race. That's too bad for Fusion Racing. We talked about them making a run in that team championship. That only leaves now his teammate Phil Reed to try to score points, at least in this first part. Meanwhile, we can report Quakel way out in front by 7.3 seconds, or 3.7 seconds.
Yes, and then we've got Usakamp further 1.5 seconds back there in third place. Uni Silvasti, he is the one that I'm watching because he's not out of this by any means. Quakel might be difficult to catch at this point, but Uni Silvasti could end up battling it out for that second place with Koch and Oosterkamp. Oosterkamp is my pick for the hard charger today. He's doing a great job, Bill.
Well, talking about the hard charger, let's go to 11th position for Adam. Whoops, we have something else. We're going to go to P7 for this battle coming up right now. This looks like a close one. Yeah, this was Prado in a nice battle. Oh, look at this. This is Prado out in front now being challenged. This is Phil Reed. We talked about the Fusion driver. Well, here it is. His teammate has this is the exact same spot where his teammate just got into trouble. Yes. And right now, let's see if Reed negotiates a little bit better. He does, as they work their way through the 12-13 chicane, and Prado gets it done.
They gave each other a bit more room there.
They did. And watching the whole thing in what we like to call the popcorn position back there with nice buttered popcorn and a soda, watching the show is the milkman, Andy Cowie, running in 9th right now.
Yeah, good to see Andy Cowie having a good race. He's had a couple of bad ones, I think. And Lawrence de Rijk also. Lawrence de Rijk in the top 10 now. Lawrence, a good driver, spent a lot of time on the sidelines in the last couple of races. So good to see him out there doing well today.
And there, we talk about de Rijk, and then the driver I wanted to talk about was Adam Tierney. You want to talk about your hard charger? He started in 23rd position. He's now up to, he started in 20th position. He's now up 11 to 11th. That's 9 spots if you do the math. So nice run from Adam.
Yeah, as is the case with Luke White from 18th to 12th at the moment, so 6 positions for him. Not as good as Adam Tierney, but a lot of the drivers that have had bad runs are doing very well here, and I'm happy to see that.
And you look there at the pass, Prado now trying to get around, trying to get that spot back in, and then that was Reed that got loose, and he's going to give the spot to Prado. Now let's see if the milkman can deliver, as he's got the car on full tilt right now, seeing if he can run down the car that had a horrible exit out of that hairpin, and that would be Reed. I don't think he's going to get there. Look at Reed come back, though. Now fighting to the inside as they work their way into the chicane. Reed gets it done. Oh, woo. Careful, boys. This is the Wall of Champions. This has claimed many a driver. Right now, Reed, who I thought gave it up on exit of the hairpin, fought back. Richard moves back into 7th. What a great run.
That was brave. That was very brave on the inside there with not a lot of room to work with, but he managed the pass. And, of course, credit to Hugo Prado for giving him some room there to make the pass. Andy Cowie having a good look from the back of these two to see what he can do, and he's closing up on Prado now. Good battle going on here as we see that in front of them Phil Reed just making a bit of a getaway right now, but Andy Cowie, as Prado goes very close to the wall there. Oh my gosh.
And now here we go. We talked about this is sudden strike to right, running in 10th position. Here comes Tierney. Tierney looking to make that move there.
Yeah, quite a train going on here, Bill, with I
think Adam's got him.
Now under attack from Tierney on the outside. He is for the hairpin. Can he get it down? Lawrence de Rijk comes back at him. They go in side by side. It looks like Tierney will have to give it up. He was on the outside of the hairpin there.
Wasn't able to get a good over-under drive off of that. Tierney racing there for Infinity Racing. That team was up on the overlay for a little while. It has fallen farther back. Oh, here comes the run. Now look at this. Here comes Tierney. Then sudden strike going to take. Oh my goodness! Kind of drifted over, and Tierney had to back out of it there a little bit. A little bit of a late move, but that's all right. Tierney knows he has plenty of time to get there.
And of course, that last chicane, you've mentioned it quite a few times. The exit of that chicane is called the Wall of Champions, and now he makes the move. Can he get it done? He's on the outside, the right on the inside. He's just has to go a little wide to make sure he leaves enough room for the right. Can't get it done there, Adam Tierney. And now they start a new lap, of course, and he's got to try and do it all over again. Those chicanes are not really conducive to overtaking maneuvers.
Got a shot at him now.
He goes on the inside as they go into the left-hander. The right fights back, but Tierney looks as if he might have it done. Will the right be able to come back at him? The right now falling in behind at this point in time. Adam Tierney, I'm going to say, as they head down towards the chicane. No, sorry, this is the, it's the chicane before the hairpin. And it looks as the Reich is not giving up. He's coming back. Now they'll head towards the hairpin, but now it's Tierney that's got the preferred line into the hairpin, but he gets overtaken. He backs it off a little bit and manages to come back at the Reich, but the Reich has it done on the exit of the hairpin. Great driving from both these guys.
And this is Luke Wright, who was back there watching the whole thing. He got a good drive off the hairpin, now looking for somewhere to go. Here comes the move to the inside as they go through the 12-13 chicane again. And this is, he's going to get it done. No, he's going to back out. My goodness, he backs. Oh, no, I got fooled. There it was. That was Lawrence de Rijk. It happened to the commentator. We talked about it in the pre-race show. De Rijk takes that straight on, that line right into the pit lane. So de Rijk comes in and is one of our top drivers to pit right now. Prado has come in as well.
Yeah, Prado went in as well. So this is lap number 13. Let's see, we've got 20 minutes. So this is exactly at the halfway mark where those drivers went in. Good time to do your pit stop. But the battle carries on between Luke White now and of course Adam Tierney. Adam Tierney still under attack. Luke White has been replaced. Lawrence de Rijk has just been replaced by Luke White. And Tierney, there's no respite for Tierney at the moment. Although he's got a tiny break at this very moment.
We can go ahead and run down your leaders here as the pit cycle is about to open up. Quakel 4.5 seconds ahead of Koch. Christian Koch just running back there, trying to run him down. Osterkamp running in third. He has left the unit behind now. The unit is about 1.5 seconds back, running in fourth position. Nolden running in fifth. Those guys are not really in contact with each other. A great run, though, from Patrick Kessler. Let's keep an eye on Kessler. He's always good in practice, and right now he is within striking distance of Nolden, or at least in the hunt right now, only back by about 0.6 of a second. So a good run from Kessler, who's well ahead of Phil Reed.
Yeah, and then of course we've got the Andy Cowie that we spoke about, and Adam Tierney and Luke White. That's your top 10. They battling as well. But yes, Kessler on Nolden, that's something we need to watch. And judging by the result from the Nolden Neon House, Kessler would want to be careful if he's going to try and make an overtaking maneuver.
And we can report that the Milkman has come in. We saw him in that battle. He's coming in for his pit stop right now, and now he is rolling. I think he should safely be able to get out in front. We'll watch this here. We'll see as watch these leaders now. He's going to come around. If we watch the Milkman, he's going to come out well ahead, I guess, of these guys. There's a battle going on behind him. This is Martinson. Now look at this. Hugo Prado is running behind the Milkman. So Cowie got out in front of Prado. That wasn't the order, Richard, before the pit stops.
That is correct. But we did see Cowie did a lightning fast pit stop, 1.6 seconds from Hugo Prater's just over 2 seconds. I'm still keeping an eye on this Patrick Kessler battle here. Patrick Kessler is, of course, in 6th place at the moment. He's having a look there at Kerry Nolden. He's not close enough to challenge at this point, but he is fairly close. So I'm just keeping an eye on that one, Bill.
Let's go back to Prado for a minute. I know it's 17th position, but right now he's got to be chomping at the bit because he's got Knut Martinson out in front of him. Now remember, Prado has already made his pit stop. He would like to put in some time, so now he's going to try to duck in here at the hairpin, and Martinson leaves him plenty of room. He knows the situation going on, so Prado gets that done. But meanwhile, what has happened is Cowie has a 1.5 second lead over Prado. And those are the top guys who've pitted so far. Cowie is the leader of all the cars who have pitted.
Yeah, that is correct. And of course, everyone in front of Andy Cowie, all of them still have to make their pit stop. And with 17 minutes left in this race, it is the window's normally quite large. Let's have a look. They're getting info. Bill, go ahead.
we're hearing that the milkman has come in again. Is that the report I'm getting? And he must have had. You know why his pit stop was so fast? You know why he got out in front of Hugo Prado? We think he sped through the pits.
Oh dear, that can happen, and of course you get a 15-second hold penalty for doing that, and that is 15 seconds is a long time in any race.
So Hugo Prado saying, aha, I knew something was rotten in Denmark, and that was what it was. Something a little fishy going on there. So Prado now running in 15th, and he is now the leader of all the cars who've pitted. That makes a little more sense to me.
Yeah, so he's done a second pit stop, which was, on my timing and scoring, 13.4 seconds. So that's not exactly a 15-second hold, but then the timing scoring could be slightly off. So let's go back and have a look at the battle with Kessler and Nolden. Still about just under a second the difference between them. And also Tierney and White, there's about a second between those two as well. Let's go back here and have a look at Lee Robinson and Ty McLeod, Bill.
Sure, we look back at that battle going on right there. Lee Robinson currently racing in, if I can find him on my timing and scoring. There we go, racing in 12th position.
Yeah, he was slightly closer than that, and I thought that there was going to be a battle between himself and Ty McLeod. That's kind of petered out. The gap is now more than a second. So we'll just have a quick look at that. Some screen time there for Lee Robinson, doing a good job today.
It's always good to watch those guys. Of course, Lee Robinson teamed up with Knut Martinson and for Fissy Racing. Let's go back to 15th position, and we'll talk about Fissy Racing right now. This is, of course, Fissy. This is Frederick Beckman in a battle with Knut Martinson right now. Neither one of these cars have fitted yet.
You know, Bill, what impresses me constantly in this series is that you have drivers which you might think are mid-pack drivers or back markers, and then suddenly they have a great race. And so all the drivers in the series are very capable. They've just got to have the right conditions to show what they can do.
Let's jump ahead to 23rd position right now. This is Christoph Holstein. He's about to be lapped. I don't think Christoph is going to be able to finish on the lead lap today to be sitting up front for the sprint race, as Quakel is about to run him down. The good news is, though, that Andy Cowie was able to come in and make that second stop and still stay on the lead lap. So while Cowie is probably kicking himself right now for the issues that he had, it's going to reward him later on in the sprint races. We're going to see a fast driver up front, and that would be Andy Cowie.
And just clocking, having a look at the guys that are close to each other. Looks like Luke White, Adam Tierney. That is a possible battle there, but there's a 1.2, 1.1 second.
You've been watching it, Richard, and now Kessler has got there. This is Nolden and Kessler is all over him now, and I think he has a run. I think he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to do it. Nolden says, turn on the reggae music, because if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to do it high. I don't think Nolden fights him off. Kessler's still working. Let's see if he can get a drive off of that hairpin. Nope, not going to get it done this time, unless he can get in the toe. Now remember, the pit window is going to be coming up. Don't fool me again with this pit entrance here.
And now we see Nolden taking what you can consider to be the normal line. Will he be going into the pits? Possibly, as Kessler has a look. Yes,
there it is.
Into the pits. Yep, that's why he took that line. What is
funny that you can actually be fooled. If you're on the inside trying to make a pass, you can actually get fooled to missing your braking point, because the guy you're trying to pass, he's on the outside and he keeps going. And when is he going to stop? And you forget that he's going in the pits. Okay, we have a pit party going on.
Yeah, Quakel, Oosterkamp, Salvasti, Nolden, White's in there, Potter, McLeod, they're all in there, Bill.
Okay, Quakel has exited out. He's come out behind Phil Reed, but Reed is yet to pit. Quakel's filed out into 4th position.
Whoa,
Oosterkamp, look at this. Yeah, Oosterkamp is out behind Quakel. Some of the drivers still...
Sorry, Bill, 1.5 seconds for Oosterkamp. That's very fast.
So we'll watch drivers like Koch, who is still out there now, who has inherited the lead. Kessler,
three
we know that
drivers.
Kessler has to come in as well, so it'll be fun, Richard, to see how Kessler comes out in relation to Nolden, who he's battling with, how Koch comes out in relationship to Osterkamp.
4 drivers still have to make a pit stop, Bill. Koch, as you mentioned, Kessler, Phil Reed has got to stop as well. And the other one that has to stop is Lee Robinson. And okay, there's another couple. Sorry, there's Knut Martinsen and Frederick Beckman as well.
Adam Tierney needs to come in too, but I think coming up this lap, we're going to be able to take care of this.
Koch is in.
All right, Koch is in. Now, what's going on right now is Quakel is stuck behind Reed, so he's not putting in the fast times that he can.
Reed
But
has
let's
to stop.
Right, but is this slowing down our leader right now, or the guy who was in the front? So let's watch Koch, and let's see if we can pick up some of the leaders when they come around. Quakel's going to get him for sure. Quakel now, as Reed comes in, Quakel's going to go by him.
Yep, Koch's in, Kessler's in, so Quakel will now take the lead once again.
Let's pick up Osterkamp in relationship to Koch. Koch is now rolling, but he has this weird exit to go. Osterkamp just going through 1 right now through 2. It looks like, when it's all said and done, Koch is going to get out about 2.2 seconds ahead of Osterkamp. Let's pick up Kessler. Kessler has come up. Where is Nolden? Well, there they are side by side. Let's look at this as they come out of the pits. Kessler and Nolden side by side. Nolden with the preferred position in that dark blue machine, the blue and black machine, has the spot. Kessler's going to have to do it for real.
Yeah, and Nolden, we've seen him drive very defensively when he was under attack from Nienhaus, and he's doing kind of the same sort of thing here. Let's see what Kessler can do that Nienhaus couldn't, because Nolden, of course, one of the past champions. Nolden is very, very aware of what's going on around him, and although we think that either one or both of himself and Nienhaus made a mistake in their contact, let's see what Kessler can do. Kessler's very close here, Bill. Oh, Kessler gets a good run.
Yeah.
Good run out there, as does Nolden as well. Nolden will know that he's there. Nolden immediately goes defensive, hugs the right-hand side of the track, says, you want to go around me? Go around the outside. Now he goes to the middle of the track, making his car as wide as possible. Kessler on the inside. Kessler has the preferred line into the chicane and coming to the wall of champions. They don't get anywhere near that wall, which you don't want to do. And he's got the position. Great driving, Kessler.
I love what Kessler did right there. He stayed right behind him. He didn't tip his hand. He waited to the very last minute. Am I going to go to the inside? Going to go to the outside? Boom! And he dapped to the inside. There was no way for Nolden to have any defense.
And Kessler has a big bobble there in turn 3. And Nolden attacking. They go through that first chicane now. And Nolden behind. They'll have to stay single file. This is the best thing to do through these very tight turns. You got lefts and rights to the all chicanes that you have to go through. Some of them are fairly wide chicanes, but chicanes nonetheless. Nolden having a look. Now they'll go down into the right-hander, another chicane, and then to the hairpin. This is the big thing. You got to line up that hairpin perfectly, Bill. Get a good run off the hairpin. So important for that long back straight.
Then we'll see if there's any defense if Nolden can get a good run out of this corner here. This is corner 10, the hairpin. We'll see if there's any run. There's a little bit of a bend for 11. Let's see what Nolden can get in the toe. Right now he's about 0.4 of a second back, about 5 car lengths. It looks like Kessler had a pretty good drive out of there. I don't think Nolden's going to have anything for him before they get to the chicane.
No, it's not close enough. Great drive off the hairpin there from Kessler. And of course Kessler did that the previous lap so that he set himself up to make the overtake, and Kessler hits the wall. Kessler hits the wall of championship hard.
The car got a little bit squiggly, and boy, he by the time he caught it, he would have saved the car if that wall was only about 3 feet more to the right. But by the time he got there, he was in the wall. And boy, yeah, that 2.0 Renault took a hard shot. I don't know how much Kessler is going to have left. I think his goal right now maybe is try to limp this around for the next how many more minutes? He can 7 minutes, maybe stay on the lead lap.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and
Yeah, you go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
We'll do a rundown right now. Let's talk about your leader, Jeroen Quakel. He's out in front by 5 seconds, comfortably running ahead of Christian Koch right now. Koch with about 1.5 second lead back to Oosterkamp. We'll keep an eye on that and see if Renee can run him down. Uni Slavasi, this is what Quakel needed to pick up a few points. Slavasi, the points leader right now, running in 4th position, about 3.5 seconds ahead of Kerry Nolden now, who has no competition because of Kessler's problem. Kessler has fallen back to 6th position. I think his job is just to keep that out. We'll watch and see if he pits this time. About 7.2 seconds over Phil Reed, running in 7th position. Hugo Prado in 8th, and then rounding out your top 10, we saw him be the hard chargers. Adam Tierney up from 20th to 9th. That's 11 spots. And then Luke White running in 10th.
Yeah, and just outside the top 10 there, Lawrence de Rijk as well. Just had a good look at Kessler. He seems to still be going. I can't believe that he can't have damage or significant damage to that car of his. That was quite a hard hit, but it was sort of side on, so maybe he's just got a lucky break there, because he's still going and still got a bit of pace, and he's still in 6th place. So good on Kessler for getting out of that, which was a very, very bad accident for him. He's got to be down on pace.
Let's go to 15th right now. This is Robert Sugar Plumley being challenged by Lee Robinson. We've seen Robinson have great races before. Looks like Robinson is going to get that pass made. Plumley going to drop back into 16th position. And Robinson moves up into 15th.
And guess what, Bill? Our favorite backmarker, Silvio Hurt, is last car on the lead lap once again.
Silvio, I don't know if he's happy about that or not. The good news or bad news, depending on your point of view, for Silvio Hurt is he is only about a half a straightaway ahead of the lap of the leader coming up, and that is Quakel. I imagine here with still 5 minutes to go, I would think Quakel, if he wanted to, could run him down. Well, I got to admit, Silvio does a pretty good job, even though he's not on pace. He does a pretty good job of leading these guys.
Absolutely, when he gets out
when
there
he has
in
the
front,
opportunity, yeah.
On the second race, of course, this is because they invert the grid. If you've just joined us, the reason we're looking at Silvio Hurt is he's the last car on the lead lap, which means he will have the pole position for the inverted grid next race, which we call the sprint race, which is part of today's event.
Honestly, I don't think he's going to be able to hold on, because the earthquake is rumbling right behind him right now. So if we go one spot up, maybe Christoph Holstein in 21st position has a shot for that one. The guy that I really wanted to see is Cowie still out there, or has Cowie? No. Cowie has parked it. It's too bad he wasn't able to stay on the lead lap. He would have been certainly a contender for the sprint race leader if he would have been able to keep on the lead lap, but that's not going to happen.
Yep. And just check in with Patrick Kessler quickly to see what he's doing. He's still circulating quite strongly in 6th place. He's got a big gap for nearly 6 seconds over Reed. So looks like if he can stay off the wall, he will finish in 6th place. But once again, Bill, Jeroen Quakel in a league of his own. 6 seconds, 5.5 seconds in front of Christian Koch, who's a past champion. That's great driving, let's face it.
You know, we ran down the top 10. We have a second. Let's talk about some of the drivers that are still on the lead lap. How about 11th? We haven't talked about Lawrence Sudden Strike to Reich right now, running in 11th position. Comfortably out ahead, about 3 seconds over Ty McLeod. We saw McLeod earlier in his familiar red machine, running in 12th position. He has distance himself ahead of the Magic Wand, Darren Potter, running in 13th spot. We'll see if Potter can get there. I don't think so. I think Potter probably worried more about what's coming up behind him right now, and that is the driver in 14th, Evan Emery. We've seen Emery also do very well in the sprint races right now. Emery running in 14th position.
Yeah, let's go quickly to this battle here. Plumley and Robinson.
That's it, 15th and 16th.
Shaping up for quite a while now. Plumley quite close, 0.4. And Robinson trying to fend him off as they go down the back straight, heading towards the last chicane with the Wall of Champions. And can Plumley do something before the end of this race? Only a couple of laps left in this race, Bill.
Yeah, we saw Robinson make that pass a little while ago, trying to leave Plumley behind. Sugar doing a good job of hanging on behind him there. We can
Yeah,
report that Silvio Hurt did get lapped, and now Holstein looks like he's going to be the driver. Now, let's go to 20th position. We have a battle for 20. This is between Vittorio Saltalamacchia and Christoph Holstein. Give a little love to some of these guys in the back right now as they fight. This is really, Richard, a fight to be on the pole for the sprint race.
Yes. In fact, they both will be on the first row anyway. So I'm not sure if they know this at this point in time. I'm sure they do. Vittorio Saltalamacchia and Christoph Holstein. Christoph Holstein, we've seen in previous races, grab a sprint race by the scruff of the neck and really be quite hard to pass. I can't remember whether he's actually won one of these sprint races, but he certainly had a few very good showings in the sprint races. We don't know about Vittorio Saltalamacchia. We'll have to wait and see, because I think this will be the first time he'll get up on the first row.
Quakel came across the start-finish line with more than a lap time left, so we think this is the second to the last. We think we're going to get the white flag next time around. That should still be enough time for these guys, or not enough time for Quakel to catch these guys right now. Saltalamacchia running in 20th position, Christoph Holstein in 21st. Those are the last cars on the lead lap. Look for them to be on the front row if everything goes according to plan for the sprint race. It's going to come up in a few minutes. Looking for other fast drivers that are back there. Really don't see any big names that are back there too far. We're going to see all the familiar names. Jarno Hertz, Frederick Beckman, Knut Martinson, Robert Plumley, all back there again. So it should be fun. Don't go away after this race is done.
Yeah, and one name that we haven't seen before up in the mid-pack, is Darren Potter. So Darren Potter's had a few not great races since he joined, and he's in the mid-pack there at the moment. And the other suspects, of course, are ones we know quite well, but I'll be interested to watch Darren as we see Jeroen Quakel get the white flag right now.
This will be fun, because I think the best battle on the track right now is this battle for 20th. As we look at our leader, and we look at it, we're saying we have another battle. Oh, we have one for 15th. Let's go ahead and check on this one again. This is Robinson and Plumley. Now remember, Plumley has made the pass, but he's not able to get away Robinson has made the pass. He's not able to get away from Plumley. As they come around, let's stay on this. Plumley with a great drive off of that corner 10, the carousel there, the hairpin. Let's see if he gets in the toe, Richard, and makes a move.
Yeah, and I've been keeping an eye on that last lap, the last positions on the lead lap. There's no battle there. I think that'll stay the way it is. So let's just keep an eye on that battle with Plumley, and of course our leader.
Oh, Plumley put it in the wall. He took a peek. He took a peek at Robinson, and then the Wall of Champion claims another name, and that is Plumley. I think Plumley is going to be okay if he can limp that car around. I think we're going to be fine. I don't think he's going to have anything now for Robinson.
Well, let's go now to Jeroen Quakel, who's about to finish this race.
It looks like Vittorio Saltalamacchia has pulled away from Christoph Holstein. Those guys are going to finish 20th and 21st. So look for Christoph Holstein to be on the pole when we do the sprint race. But right now, the winner for round number 10, the first half of the feature race of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship is the Earthquake Jeroen Quakel. Second place going to Christian Koch. Looks like Renee Osterkamp is going to come home just a little bit behind Koch for third. Slovasi and Kerry Nolden rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, very good racing from Jeroen Quakel. They won by 6.5 seconds.
Kessler, after tasting the wall there at the Wall of Champions, going to be able to limp that car like we thought, back in 6th position. So really didn't lose anything, just wasn't able to get around Nolden, but didn't cost him a real position. Phil Reed, Hugo Prado, and Adam Tierney, I think, are going to round out your top 10. His final driver is going to be Luke White.
And let's have a look at the last lead lap. Indeed, Saltalamacchia and Holstein will be on row 1 for the next race.
Assuming these guys are able to bring it all around, Saltalamacchia looks like he's home free for a 20th position finish. Be on the outside of row 1. And on the pole, when we come back in a few minutes after we do driver interviews and we grid up for the sprint race, Christoph Holstein, certainly a quality driver. Should be interesting to see him up front. Okay, that's going to finish our coverage of this race. Now, I need to know, Director, do we have anybody in the interview room? You want to go to break right now, or let's go to break. We'll come back. Don't go far, because we'll actually tuck in here during the break, do some driver interviews before the sprint race lines up. So we'll take a short break with Global Sim Racing Channel. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship, round number 10, the first part, the featured race from Montreal. And right now we're on the break between the feature and the sprint race, so let's take this opportunity to run down the entire standings of that feature race that just wrapped up. Jeroen Quakel was your winner. Christian Koch came in second position. Renee Osterkamp rounded out the podium. Quakel able to pick up a few spots on the champion, Uni Slavasi, who came in fourth right now. Slavasi, the point leader. Kerry Nolden coming in sixth position. Patrick Kessler had a little taste of the wall, but was able to limp it home in sixth. Phil Reed in seventh. Hugo Prado, Adam Tierney, and Luke White round out your top 10. Richard?
And then we go to 11th place, which was Ty McLeod. 12th place was Lawrence de Rijk. 13th place, Darren Potter. 14th place, Evan Imre. 15th place, Robert Plumley. 16th place, Lee Robinson. 17th place, Knut Martensen. 18th place, Frederick Beckman. 19th place, Jano Hirtz. And in 20th place, Vittorio Saltalamacchia.
And then on the pole for the sprint race will be Christoph Holstein, the last car on your lead lap, finishing in 21st position. That means 21 cars will be inverted, putting the Earthquake in 21st position for the sprint race. Silvio Hurt, Sarah Dove, who had trouble early, finishing in 23rd position. Andy Cowie, we saw the Milkman have trouble as well. Richard Noah was on his lid. He's going to finish in 25th. The two brothers go back-to-back here in 26th and 27th. Little brother first, that's Yannick and Gunner in 27th. Those are the Nienhouse brothers, of course. A strong race from Mark Forte. No, not today, as he's going to finish in 28th position. The Flying V, Stephen Chambers had trouble early, 29th. We're not going to see much of him. He's really going to have to struggle in that sprint race. And then here's a big name that finished not on the lead lap, so he won't really be much of a contention. That's Christian Tkach, who was in 30th position, and Dylan Hember, 31st. That rounds out our lineup, our entire field there. What we're going to do right now is take another break. We'll get everything set up and bring you the 20-minute sprint race that's about to come up. Global Sim Racing Channel, back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula 2.0 Renault. Get that right. The Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. It is a mouthful. I usually get it. I've been working on it for 10 races now. This is round number 10, the sprint race from Montreal. We just wrapped up the feature event, the 40-minute big points race that was won by the Earthquake, Jeroen Kwekel. Now we're going to invert the drivers who finished on the lead lap. Richard, I'm going to read you the first four rows here coming up. See if you like a driver to get the win here. Row 1, Christoph Holstein and Vittorio Saltalamacchia. Row 2, Jarno Hertz, Frederick Beckman. Row 3, Knut Martinsen and Lee Robinson. Then in the fourth row, Robert Plumley and Evan Emre. Do you feel a winner out of any of those?
Knut Martinsen comes at me, and Imre as well. We've seen these guys do very well up front. So we'll keep an eye on those two and see how they go. They are not on the front row. That's from row 3, I think, from what you mentioned there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for them to get by in the first. It all depends on what happens in that first corner, I think, Bill. It's going to be very interesting.
Yes.
We've seen the pile-up that happened in the first race in that first corner. So hopefully they can negotiate a little better this time. But, I'm not hopeful because you got the fast guys trying to come through from the back. So it's going to be fun.
Yes, now let's be honest, it's quite an undertaking that these guys are doing. They are inverting 21 drivers, so they're putting Kwekel and Koch and Osterkamp and Slovasi, Nolden, Kessler, Reed, Prado, all those big names are going to be way at the back. What usually happens in a race is the faster cars pull away and the string stretches out. That's not going to happen here. And Richard, the layout of this track, I don't got a good feeling. I don't got a good feeling about this one if I use poor English. I think this is going to be rough. A lot of twists early.
And folks, if you didn't understand that, that's American he's speaking. That's not English.
Yeah, it's that's what happens when I start to worry. I lose all of my sister Mary Catherine, my 4th grade English teacher, rolling over in her grave right now, I'm sure, listening to Little Billy Zahn doing that. But yeah, I think first of all, you have that left-hander, then you go through that the carousel there, that right-hander, and then you get into the chicanes, and it's so tight and narrow, and you're full on the throttle. Oh my goodness! Good luck, boys.
Yeah, and it's the big word is going to be patience, particularly in lap number 1, and the big names. We've seen Jeroen Kwekel fail in that second race, and have to sit on the sidelines and watch the race. So, I mean, these are great drivers, and hopefully they will just take it easy because we want everyone to finish the race if possible.
And let's talk big picture. We saw that Jeroen Kwekel was Slovasi got off to a point lead early in the season. Then Kwekel was able to run him down and actually get a nice little gap going on. Of late, Slovasi has been back on his game, and Kwekel has been a little bit off his game. When we talked in the pre-race show, what Kwekel needed to do was finish out in front of Slovasi, close that gap a little bit. So far, after the feature race, he's done that. He got the maximum points you could get. And then he finished 4 spots ahead of Kwekel. Now Kwekel's going to start, 4 spots ahead of Slovasi. Slovasi will be ahead of him, but all Kwekel really needs to do is keep the car out there, have a good result. He doesn't need to finish ahead of Slovasi here in this sprint race. They don't pay quite as much points, and that'll keep him in the hunt for the championship. With only 2 more events after this one, Richard, if Kwekel has a bad sprint race, that could be the end of our championship.
Well, that's right. And Silvasti will be well aware of this. And we saw Silvasti having a lot of patience in the sprint race here, thinking, okay, if I finish in the top 5, this is just my guesswork, finish in the top 5 and can do well in the sprint race, and we'll see what the attitude is that he takes into this race, because this is a very important race, as you say, Bill, with only a couple of events to go. This is where you want to try and consolidate if possible.
I don't think that the unit, and we're talking about Slovasi, is really at his best here at this track. He doesn't seem quite as comfortable or as dominant as we've seen him before. But He really doesn't need to have the speed here early on. One of his strengths is racecraft, and his ability to work his way through traffic and knife his way through here. That's one of his strengths, and even though he might be a little bit off the pace, not quite as fast as some of the guys he's racing with, I think the racecraft could really pay off well. As I don't think he's ever going to see clean track until he gets to the front. He's going to have 19 drivers to get through in 25 minutes. He'll be lucky if he doesn't have anybody in front of him.
Well, we've seen one driver so far be able to win from
back. Let's go to the grid right now. On the front row, Christoph Holstein, Vittorio Saltelemakia. Second row, Jarno Hirtz and Frederick Beckman. Row 3, Knut Martinson. Somebody to keep an eye on. His partner, Lee Robinson, right next to him. Robert Sugar Plumley in the fourth row with Evan Emery outside of him. And the fifth row is made up of the Magic Wand, Darren Potter, and Lawrence Sutton. Strike to right. Richard?
Then we've got 11 and 12, Ty McLeod, Luke White, Adam Tierney, and Hugo Prato, 13 and 14. 15 and 16 are Phil Reed and Patrick Kessler. Kerry Nolden, 17. Unisol Vasti, big name there, 18. Rene Horsenkamp, 19. And 20th place, Christian Koch, as they're starting to line up on the grid.
Jeroen Earthquakel in 21st position. Then all the cars who finished more than one lap down. Sylvia Hertz, Sarah Dove, Andy Cowie, the milkman. We saw him had trouble. Richard Arnaud, the Nienhouse brothers, Yannick and Gunnar, Stefan Chambers, Christian Tkach, and Dylan Hember is your 30th driver. As the engines start to harmonize, keep an eye up front. This is going to be exciting. The guy on front is Christoph Holstein. He gets a pretty good jump right now. Working on the outside of Sal Telemakia, but those two drivers negotiate the first corner. Sal Telemakia gives them lots of room. We have a big issue even before they get to corner number 1. We'll come back and get that one. It looked like it might have had, Emery might have been involved in that one. Prado is caught in it. Emery has survived, although he might have been the driver who started. I don't want to put the blame. We'll double check to make sure on that, but pardon me if I'm wrong on that. Looks like many of the big names are getting through. Osterkamp still racing. Slavasi still around. Quakel's still in the hunt. So at least those guys didn't get caught up in it.
Oh no, Quakel! In another accident. Quakel's down. I think he was already slowing down. Slavasti passed him as if he was standing still. Slavasti is definitely still in the hunt here. Quakel's still going, but he's got damage on that car.
I think you might have misidentified. I think it might have been Christian Koch that you're talking about in the number 3 machine.
Quakel, I'm looking at him right now.
All right. We're going to look at the replay on Quakel.
Have a look after the first corner. A little bit later on in the lap, he gets gathered up by lots of guys.
Looking at Quakel right now. I didn't see him, but Richard saw it. Let's see if we can find it on here.
Just watch now, Salvasti, he slows down here. Salvasti passes him and he gets collected by about 2 guys after that.
Here it is. We got it. Yeah, look at that. It looked like maybe he had to slow down as he was going around the driver and he got punted from behind. Now we'll go back and look at the replay at the start. We'll do this very quickly here. You can see that the front guys made it through pretty cleanly. It was back a little bit. Now I gave... Did I say it was Emery who I said? I want to misidentify somebody. You can see the guys getting together there 6, 7, 8 wide as they tried to negotiate through all the chaos that was happening into corner number 1. And again, I only had one look at it, so if I misidentified a driver, I apologize to friends, family.
Oh, more trouble in front of Yuri Salvasi. This is horrible.
All right, now we're back to the replay on Slavasi.
Yeah, just Salvasi got clear, but just in front of him there was a big accident. Look at the cars flying around there. One on its lid.
And now we're back live.
And Bill, it's been an obstacle course for Unisalvasti, but he's in there, and I'm having a look. Where is he at the moment? I think, let me go and have a look for his position. There he is. He's in 12th place, up from 21st or 20th.
Okay, now we're looking. Let's go up now that all that action is out of the way. We can tell about what's going on up front. Your leader right now, is it Holstein is out in front? Am I correct on this? My timing and scoring showing him in second, but I believe he is our leader right now. Then it is Sal Talamaki. He's being challenged by Jarno Hertz. Now, Jarno having a great run back there in 3rd position. Quite a big gap. Then we get to 5th position where it's a train. Emery, Beckman, and McLeod. In fact, here come McLeod right now. McLeod makes a move on Emery and is going Beckman. McLeod in that red car is going to get it done as they work side by side. Oh, he's still having to work on it, and now he gets to drive through this corner number 2. Can he get a little bit of momentum as they have to work through this hairpin or through the chicane? This is Beckman and McLeod. McLeod on the outside, Beckman on the inside, but now it switches back and forth as McLeod will have the preferred position, and he gets loose. Beckman gets loose. Everyone avoids him, though. Getting around him is Potter. Getting around is Osterkamp. Osterkamp having a great run up in 7th position. Started in 19th. He is up 12 spots.
And Unisel Vasti, let's go to Unisel Vasti. He's up to 8th position already. And in front of him now, Osterkamp, so that's not going to be an easy pass. But he has managed to avoid all the dramas. His car is completely whole. He hasn't been involved in any shenanigans as far as I can see. He's got the clean run, and this is magic for Unisel Vasti. Quakel he's out of the race. In fact, Quakel, well, he's in 18th place, way down there, but effectively out of the race. As here we see Unisel Vasti getting on terms there with Westerkamp and just trying to make the pass. Westerkamp going defensive. He has to go to the outside, coming up to the last chicane. I don't think he can get it done here. Westerkamp's got the run into that last chicane. This is where the wall of championship is, and of course you can just see Unisel Vasti taking it easy. Unisel Vasti, the master, the unit.
Meanwhile, we have it off. It was a battle, and now it's off. It was Jarno Hertz who was battling with Victorio Sal Talamakia. Sal Talamakia has got the spot. Great recovery, though, from Hertz, who lost it going into corner 2 as he just wrapped up corner number 1. You can see him get loose. What a quick recovery, though, from Hertz here. Watch this. That's Hertz in front, Sal Talamakia behind him. Then as they go through, they're going to cross the start-finish line. Then they have this left-hander coming up, and you can see Hertz get loose right here. But watch this quick recovery as the car gets out. He gathers it back up, turns it back around, and drops right back in 3rd position ahead of Evan Emery. We're back live now. Good battle for second.
As we come back live, we see that Christoph Holstein is leading by 6.5 seconds. He's out in front. Jarno Hertz and Vittorio Saltalamaki, you mentioned. And behind them, Evan Imre. He is just behind these two. Can he make a pass as they go out of the hairpin now down the back straightaway? Imre has got both of them in front of him. Can he make a run to the final chicane? We shall have to wait and see. But coming up behind them, we've got the likes of Ty McLeod, Darren Potter, Rene Westerkamp, and Unisel Vasti, of course, in a big battle as well. Sorry, go ahead, Bill.
This is the magic one. Darren Potter on the inside. He's going to let Osterkamp get around him. Osterkamp gets 6th position. The guy who could not get there that time was Unisel Vasti. We go up to P2 as the action is everywhere right now. P2 side by side. Here we go on the inside. That is Visal Talamakia. Gets it done on Jarno Hertz. Jarno fighting back. Watching the whole thing in the popcorn position is Evan Emery. Emery's a little faster. Now getting loose on the outside of Sal Talamakia. That's going to give the position to Hertz. Hertz takes over 2nd. Sal Talamakia in 3rd. Trying to find a way around is Emery because he knows the guys are coming from behind. The guy chasing him is Ty McLeod right now in 5th, hoping to get there. So right now, 2nd position, Hertz, Sal Talamakia, and Emery.
Rightio, and let's go back to Unisel Vasti in 8th place. Just behind him, of course, Gunnar Nienhaus. He's 1.2 seconds back, about a second back. So these two, I've been keeping an eye on. Unisel Vasti still taking it easy, Bill. He is in no big hurry. This guy is obviously driving with a thought to the championship. There's no question about it.
A lot of nice battles going on. I think the real excitement is up here for 2nd position right now. Jarno Hertz able to distance himself a little bit. The guy who is hungry, the guy who is on the move is Emery. But look what has happened. We talked about it. Now McLeod is in the mix, and here come Osterkamp in 6th position. So these guys up front have got to get around right now. Hertz running in 2nd position. Of course, the guy loving the whole thing is Christoph Holstein, who is 7.3 seconds ahead of all these guys. Now here comes the pass back. Sal Talamakia being challenged by Emery. Emery gets the job done as Emery moves up into 3rd position. Sal Talamakia back to 4th. I think they all...
Just behind them. So Vasti made a challenge on Darren Potter. Couldn't get it done, and now he's lost the position here. to Gunnar Nierenhaus. Gunnar having a good run in this race. He had a terrible run in the last one.
So that battle continues back there that we talked about. This Potter in 7th, Nierenhaus and Slovasi running in 9th position. Potter doing a good job to stay ahead of those guys. Let's jump up. So much action. Let's go up to 6th position. This is Osterkamp. He's looking for anyway around Ty McLeod. Now McLeod is no slouch either, trying to get around Sal Talmaka. Meanwhile, back up front, that battle continues between Hirt and Emery. Now that is Hirt who had a bad exit. Emery's going to get 3rd position. Hirt's falling back right now. Sal Talamakia gets him. Milken on the inside. This is McLeod in the red car. McLeod gets him as well. The only guy who doesn't get in there is Osterkamp. But now another car is off. And that is the car of Sal Talamakia, who was leading the train. He now falls way into the very back. He gives up all those positions. Going to tuck in behind. Oh, and then the bang and a boom. And that was Osterkamp and Potter.
Potter tipped him. Potter just got into the back of him, was trying for the pass on the outside, and made a judgment call that I believe it went all wrong for him. And Osterkamp and Potter got involved, and they're going to have to exit. They're out of it.
Yeah, I think that Potter maybe got into Osterkamp there, I would think, if they looked at that one. That's how we saw it. Just one quick look. We're back live now. The guy loving this is Christoph Holstein, Richard. He is out in front by nearly 10 seconds now.
Yes, he is really, and with only 15 minutes to go, he's in a very good position. Second place currently being held down by Evan Imre. Out of the picture at the moment, Vittorio Saltalamakia, and where's Jano? Was it here? No, Hirt is still in there. But Silvio Hirt, he's out of it at the moment.
Slovasi just elbowed his way around Sal Talamakia. Slovasi now up to 6th position. The excitement remains up front. Right now, Nierenhaus, Gunnar that is, running in 5th position, looking to get around Jarno Hirtz. And we talked about McLeod. McLeod now has cleared all that traffic. He has some clean air in front of him. We know that Ty can really get going if he has some clean air. Let's see if he can get away from these guys running in 3rd position. Got quite a ways to get up to Evan Emery. Emery running in 2nd.
And a very good run here from Joni Silvastri. What he's doing, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, he's sitting back there watching Gunnar deal with the traffic in front of him,
and Gunnar makes the move
hoping
now
that there will be some drama happening, and then he'll just cruise on by. But if it doesn't happen, he's prepared to make his own attack as well. As we saw Gunnar move forward one more spot, Bill. Gunnar is trying to get to the front there. Don't think he can catch Holstein, but he might be able to get up on the podium.
Gunnar got around Hirtz. Then Slovasi trying to make a move, but he's not going to get there before the chicane. Now let's move up to McLeod. Oh, McLeod has issues. Who else is involved in that one? Is it just McLeod?
Just McLeod. He just went left from coming out of the coming out
Wall of Champions got him.
Champions.
I'm not sure how Nierenhaus missed him, to be honest with you. Watch Nierenhaus right behind. I think Nierenhaus got some of that.
Yeah, there's a touch there, but I don't think it's big enough to do any damage to Nierenhaus. He's going still. And of course, Silvastri moves up a place as well. And who's that in front of Silvastri? Let's have a look. That's Jano here. So Jano won't be holding. Jano doing a great job. Make no mistake. He's right up there in 4th place at the moment. But he's got the likes of Joni Silvastri behind him. Can he hold out the unit? I don't think so. But Gunnar Nierenhaus, he's on the podium at the moment. Our leaders, of course, Christoph Holstein running away with this race at the moment. Evan Emre, who we mentioned as a possible winner before the race, he's in 2nd place. Now we've got Jano. Yes, under attack from Joni Silvastri from the outside, going to the hairpin. Jano fights back, but he just misses the apex there, or gives up the apex to Silvastri, and Silvastri now moves forward into what looks like 4th position.
Yep, sometimes that out-timed line can give you some momentum, but look at this. Here's fighting back. He's in a tow. It's going to be hard to do it from the outside. Slovasi tries to ease him over as far as he can. They try to go 2x2 through those chicanes. That's not going to work. And what that does is that hurts a horrible entrance into the chicane, gives him a horrible exit. He gives up the spot to the milkman, Andy Cowie. Welcome to 5th spot.
Yes, sir. And Jano has been shuffled back a couple of spots. Victoria Saltalamacchia in there having probably the best race of the season so far, doing very well. Richard Arnaud in there as well. Robert Plumley and Adam Tierney are holding down the minor spots there. They are also in it. Great driving once everything's settled down, but what a horrible start, Bill.
We can report that that Earthquakel is back there running in 14th position right now. He's got it. He has given up a spot to Christian Koch. He was ahead of Koch when I checked in last time. That's not the result that Quakel needed. He's probably going to lose all those points that he gained in the feature race back to Slavasi, who's running right now in 4th spot.
And so Sarah Dove, a great race from her here. She always does well in the sprint races. And she's up in 12th position at the moment, so doing a good job. I'll just say that real quick because the last time I said anything about Sarah, I put the mockers on her and she went flying like a bird.
There we see Sarah. Okay, let's catch our breath and run down the top 10 as they run right now. I'll go through this pretty quick because it's going to change. Out in front, Christoph Holstein by 2.2 seconds, but that interval is shrinking.
No, 9.2 seconds.
Oh, sorry, 9.2. Sorry, Evan Emre is, really was shrinking, but 2.2. Evan Emre beginning to run that down, but he only has 10 minutes to do it. Not sure if he has enough time to get there. Emre running in second. Gunnar Nienhaus has worked his way from 27th position up to 3rd right now, followed by Slavasi, who's running in 4th, about 2 seconds ahead. Look at this guy, Andy Cowie, having a great run, 24th to 5th. Remember, he didn't even start on the lead lap. He was cycled way into the very back, 5th position. 6th position, Jarno Hertz. He started on the inside of row 2, doing a good job staying inside the top 10. Excuse me, Vittorio Saltalamacchia. Let's watch this. This is a nice battle going on right now. Saltalamacchia in a battle with Plumley. And leading that is Richard Arnaud. Arnaud up in front in 7th position. He got around Saltalamacchia. Let's see this here. Let's watch Sugar Plumley make a move here. Try to get around Victorio.
Yeah, these guys are all doing a great job. This is one of the things that this series serves up for us, is when they have that inverted grid. You find guys that are way down the back in the first race, perhaps having an opportunity to get into that top 10. So certainly, Bill, this is the only series that I know of that does this, that we cover anyway.
Yeah.
And it's been very successful.
Well, Arnaud running at 7th position, one of those drivers like Cowie who didn't even get the advantage of the regrid. He's doing this the hard way, starting 25th up to 8th position. Nice run from him. Saltalamacchia, of course, started in the 2nd spot, trying to be chased down by Plumley. Plumley started in 7th.
And it looks as if Holstein is just, starting to ease up a little bit. I think he feels that 8.7 seconds is enough, or 9 seconds enough to win this race.
Let's
Only
go to 10th.
8 minutes left.
10th position. I'm sorry, Richard. This is Tierney being in a battle with Tkach. Christian Tkach, somebody we haven't talked much about. He had a bad first race. He finished way down the starting order. Right now, gets around Adam Tierney, moves into 10th position, drop Adam Tierney back into 11th.
Yeah, Christian Tkach was a victim on lap number 1 in the previous race. And now we got to go to P2. We're getting information.
Here it is.
And Nienhaus. Yes, and the pass just happened as we came to it. And that is heading into the second chicane there, Bill. Gunnar Nienhaus doing a great job. He is annoyed by what happened in the first race to him. And he's heading onto the podium and determined to make a good fist of it in this race.
Well, you mentioned that maybe Christoph Holstein was just taking it easy. Any thoughts of doing that now has probably left his head, as now Nienhaus is behind him, and he is a-coming. I'll give you that interval right now because there's nobody between Holstein and Nienhaus right now. That is 8.7 seconds.
Now, the big question is, how aggressive is Uni?
And now in 4th position, we got to keep an eye on Slavasi. Slavasi just working his way through that final chicane, coming across the start-finish line. He's got about 1.5 seconds to get to Emre. Slavasi running in 4th.
Time for him to catch. 7 minutes left in this race. It depends on how aggressive does Uni Slavasi want to be. He wants to make sure he finishes this race, get some good points from it, because of course he's got good points from the first race. And he knows that Jeroen Kwijkel will have terrible points from this race. even though he won the first race. So Yuni Savasi just want to play it calmly and be Mr. Steadiness. And once again, he will pick up some points in the championship on his nearest rival, which indeed is Jeroen Kwekel.
6.5 minutes to go. 8.3 seconds is the gap between first and second. It seems like a lot, but that's what I thought a second ago when I was running down my top 10. Next thing I knew, Nienhuis was going around Emre.
Yep. And Salvasi is only 0.6 now off Emre. You might think, okay, can I get onto the podium and take that position from Emre? This is something you'll be thinking about, but I don't think you'll be thinking about anything further. There's a possibility if a big mistake happens with Gunnar Nienhuis, he could even get second. So I'll be keeping an eye on Salvasti because he's not done yet in this race.
Nienhuis 1.5 seconds faster the last lap compared to Holstein. So yeah, he is coming. The gap is now down to 7 seconds. It's all a matter of does he have enough time? We will watch it. 5 minutes to race. How many laps would that be? We're probably thinking 3 laps from here, maybe. And that time, the interval was 2 seconds he knocked off, Richard.
Yes, the battle. Salvasti is right on top of Imre at the moment, although Imre manages to pull out a couple of car lengths as they go into the first chicane. And Salvasti just backed it off. Salvasti, the last thing he wants is any sort of drama at this stage. So he's going to try and get that position from Imre, but he's going to do it carefully, in my opinion, and not do anything to hurt his chances of staying where he is at least. Richard, but he's having an eye.
Keep an eye on that battle. Give me a yell, because that's important. But right now I want to go back to 8th position. But let's go back to that if there's a battle for 3rd. This is Sal Telemakia. Remember, he was in that battle with Plumley. Well, Plumley hasn't been able to make up any ground, but the guy we talked about, Christian Tkac, sure has. He's running in 10th now. He is all over the back of Plumley. Let's go to P3.
It's the battle. Salvasti on the outside, Imre on the inside as they come to the hairpin. Very wide from Salvasti. He gets the exit, and I think he's got enough of a run here. He's done this pretty well, but there's a defense from Imre on the inside. Salvasti has to take the outside line, but he's got enough momentum to get past him unless Imre makes a dive. Imre's given up. Imre falls in behind Yuni Savasti. Yuni on the podium. Great driving.
Both cars, able to negotiate the wall of champion. I always get scared whenever a driver makes a pass there because they enter so fast, but nice job. Like Richard said, Savasti up to the podium. The interval to the lead, 6.2 seconds now with 3 minutes, about 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to race. But now Holstein coming up on the back of Phil Reed. I'm surprised Reed's going so slow. Reed must have got into some early trouble right now.
Yeah, Christoph Holstein 6 seconds in front of Gunnar Nienhuis. Gunnar is flying, or maybe it's the other way around. Christoph Holstein just going slowly at the moment. But I think he's got enough momentum and enough of a lead to finish this race on P1 unless he has some trouble.
Let's go back to 8th. We talked about that battle with Sal Telemakia. Remember, he was being chased by Plumley. Well, Plumley has got around, Tkac has got around Plumley now, up into 9th position. Now, Tkac trying to work on Sal Telemakia for 8th. This is a great battle. A great run from Sal Telemakia. Meanwhile, back behind, look at Plumley is being overtaken by Tierney. So Adam Tierney moves up to 10th, and Sugar Plum continues to fall.
Yeah, and Plumley is still within a range of
and here
Adam
comes
Tierney.
Tkac. Tkac is going to get this done as they work through here. Tkac is going to have the preferred position going through the hairpin. I don't think, even on the outside line, I don't think that Sal Telemakia is going to have it. Oh, and off in the back is Plumley.
Plumley
no
has
harm.
a bit of a spin, and Sarah Dove took evasive action that she's moving forward. Great job from these guys. They are so interesting to watch. But at the moment, I want to just go back to Yuni Savasti. He's got that 3rd position pretty well wrapped up. He's moving away from Imre. So back to you, Bill. Let's see if we can get the minor places in those battles.
Yeah, we have 2 to go, and we can just close the book on that one now. It looks like on that battle, it looks like Tkac is going to pull away. Sal Telemakia gets into 9th. Tierney probably has a chance to get Sal Telemakia, and then with Plumley spins, he drops into 11th position. Let's go ahead, maybe check up front, director, and see what that interval is. 4.8 seconds with 2 to go. He's coming, but does he have enough time? Boy,
Not
he's
enough.
goggle him up. I don't think
1
so.
minute 45 seconds left in the race. He will most certainly on the next time by will get the white flag. Christoph Holstein. At the moment, he's being extremely careful. This is what I think is happening. He's just being very careful to make sure that he finishes in that P1 because a lack of concentration here and you're into the walls at this place, Bill. So he's just being careful, in my opinion.
Nienhuis knocked off another second that last lap, but it's just not going to be enough as they're going to be coming across. I think this is going to be the white flag this time by with only 1 minute. It'll be less than a minute by the time they cross the start-finish line. So, yes, this is certainly going to be the white flag lap. Christoph Holstein, a great run from him, wire to wire so far. If he can just negotiate, how many corners? 13 corners? Is that what we decided on here?
Yep.
And that's how many he has to go before he can pick up a sprint win. Nienhuis in second, Slovasi in third. Let's go ahead and report on Quakel. He really hasn't been able to make up much ground, running in 14th position.
And spare a thought for Dylan Hember in the last lap, and he puts it in the wall, so he's out of it. And let's go very quickly to Jeroen Quakel, 13th place for him, still going, which is a decent finish for him after the problems he had on lap 1.
And Tierney gets around Sal Talamaki now. We thought that was going to happen, so move Tierney up to 9th. Sal Talamaki is fighting, hanging on for a top 10. It's been a great run from him. Hasn't had the pace, but certainly been competitive. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, and Unisavasi just playing it cool is 3.5 seconds behind Gunnar Nienhuis. Don't think he's too worried about that. The two in front of him are not fighting for his position in the championship. He's well ahead, 10 places ahead of his nearest rival, Jeroen Quakel, so he'll be happy. Back to Christoph Holstein, who has got the white flag.
He works his way around that hairpin. Now he just has turn number 11, which is just a little dog leg. Then 12 and 13. He needs to negotiate the wall of champion. I think he can take it nice and slow. This is round number 10, the sprint race here for the Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. And winning the sprint version of round number 10 is going to go to Christoph Holstein. Nice job from him. Finishing second, coming up 25 positions, Gunnar Nienhuis. The unit, Unislavasi, is going to get third. How about a big shout out to the milkman, Andy Cowie, up 20 spots, going to finish in fourth. Jarno Hertz started in third position, comes home in the top 5, Richard.
Yeah, excellent stuff from Jarno there. Richie Arno, also great job from him. He's going to finish in probably 5th position. Whole bunch of guys that did so well in this race. But what a horrible start to the race in lap number 1, Bill.
Looking to see if we have any other battles out there. I don't think so. It looks like everybody coming across the line right now. Everybody safely negotiates, and everyone has wrapped up their final lap. The last car on the lead lap, Knut Martinsen Kmart, coming across in 15th position. We're going to take a short break right now. We'll be back in just a few minutes to do driver interviews, run down the entire standings, and close up shop. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Round number 10, we had the feature race, and we just wrapped up the sprint race from Montreal. And our winner, for the first time this season, he picks up a win. His best finish so far was a fourth in a couple sprint races, Christoph Holstein. Second place goes to Gunnar Nienhaus, who started 27th, up 25 spots to second. Uni Slavasi gets the final podium position, up 15 spots. Andy Cowie, the milkman, a great run from him, up 20 spots into fourth. Richard Arnault, great job in fifth, rounding out your top five. Jarno Hertz, Evan Emre, Christian Tkach, we saw him run up 29th to 8th position. Adam Tierney, and rounding out the top 10, he started outside of row 1. He's going to finish inside the top 10. Vittorio Saltalamacchio. Richard?
Yeah, great runs from all of those guys. In 11th place, Robert Plumley dropped a few places from his starting position in this race. Sarah Dove in 12th position. Good finish there. Jeroen Kwekel, after a lot of drama in lap number 1 or 2, and finishing in 13th place, still up from 21st place, so a good run from him. Lawrence de Rijk in 14th place, Knut Martensen 15th, and that was the last car on the lead lap. Then we've got Phil Reed in 16th, Christian Koch in 17th, Dylan Hember, who failed on the very last lap. Unfortunate for him, he finished in 18th, Ty McLeod 19th, and rounding out the top 20, Darren Potter, who was doing quite well in the first race.
Rene Oosterkamp had a great run in the feature, finished third, not able to follow up that success in the sprint as he comes in the blackjack spot. Stephen the Flying V Chambers in 22nd position, Frederick Beckman behind him. Patrick Kessler finished 6th in the feature race, 24th here in the sprint race. Luke White, 25th quarter century mark for him. Lee Robinson and Hugo Prado, 26th and 27th. Another champion, Karen Nolden, in 28th spot. Silvio Hurt, 29th, and the final car, little brother to Gunnar Jannik Nienhaus, going to finish in 30th spot. Okay, Richard, it looks like we have our race winner. Let me bring in, and you can talk to him. It's Christoph Holstein. Nice job. Go ahead, Rich.
Thank you. Christoph, you got a copy?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hey, congratulations on your first win in the season. How does that feel? That was a really and dominating win as well at this track.
To be honest, I must have been pretty lucky because I was in a Skype call with a couple of other people, and they just said, Jerome got damage, Uni got damage, Gunnar had damage, everyone had damage. And when I heard that, there's really nothing. There's just my to lose really. Pace hasn't been that great really, to be honest, but I just try to keep it on the track and pray that I don't crash.
Yeah, look, we noticed that you had a good lead. It was up to around 9 seconds, 10 seconds in the middle of the race, and then it kind of got chopped back by Gunnar Nienhaus. I said that I think that was just you being careful. Was that the case?
Well, in general, Gunnar's way faster. That's not really. That's yeah, of course, sure. But I was also very cautious, not matching my lap times from the practice sessions and stuff like that. But yeah, I just try to control the gap to not let him too close towards the end and just keep it safe, really, to not take unnecessary risks in the end.
Yeah, that's what we thought. So this format that gets guys who finish perhaps further down in the first race get an opportunity to try and make a fist of winning the race in the second. Is this something that appeals to you? You like this format that they've got here?
Definitely. I mean, I've never raced in any format like that before, and really, I mean, it's just very interesting to see. Of course, I've been unfortunate in the feature race, and that just got me into that position, really. And yeah, before the start, I was just hoping that I just don't bin it myself, and then I was pretty sure that I would get a very good result. And yeah, it worked out perfectly then.
Okay, a very happy Christoph Holstein there. And Christoph, thank you for talking to us. Congratulations on coming in P1. Doesn't matter how you do it. If you get a P1 next to your name, that is something to be really happy about. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, Bill, back to you, my friend.
Okay, we're going to get an opportunity to talk to the driver who finished 6th overall, but 6th place really doesn't talk about the excitement that he had. First of all, It's Jarno Hertz. Are we pronouncing the first name right? Is it Jarno or Yarno? How do you pronounce that first name?
No, it's Jarno, but you're doing a good job, Bill.
All right, thank you, Jarno. Hey, what a race. First of all, you finished 19th. You did what you needed to do in the feature race. That got you up front where you could start third, inside of row 2. But man, what an exciting race you had fending off all those guys.
Yeah, the thrilling start. Still a bit shaky, but I couldn't get into a rhythm because of all the fighting. Even with Gunnar and Silvasti had some good fights, even though they're way faster than me. Yeah, well, at the last part, Evan spun right in front of me, which cost me 5th or 6th tenths of a second. So Richard could come in and close in on me and take the position in the last corner. But I think it was a fair battle, so I'm pretty excited about my 6th position.
I thought the racing was it was very competitive, but I thought it was very fair up there. A lot of guys taking defensive lines. Sometimes you would take a defensive line, but everyone making their line known so that everyone knew where they were going. I thought it was some really exciting and some really clean racing.
Yeah, I can imagine. This is what we all race for. Have good battles with each other, especially when you're overtaking someone. The next lap they overtake you. The third lap you're back on the straight in his draft and you take the position back. Yeah, it's great. Had some really, really good fights. And I also think it was really, really fair. We didn't have a chat about it or anything. Everybody was just holding their lines nice and cleanly, and it was a blast, really. Had a blast.
Where was your favorite place to make a pass?
I had some defending to do in the last chicane, but I think my favorite position to pass is in the first corner to the left. So
that first corner.
It's really hard to defend. If you get up the inside, they got to take a really, really wide line, and it's almost impossible to defend up there if you're on the inside. So yeah, that's a great spot to do it.
Well, I was a little apprehensive about Montreal, but I thought it put on a great show, and you certainly put on a great show. Congratulations about your 6th place today and putting on a good show for us to watch.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Jarno Hertz, 6th overall, 19th in the feature race. Richard, do we have one more we can talk to?
Yeah, let's bring in Jeroen Kwijkel. It'll be interesting to get his view on that on this race.
Go ahead, Richard.
Jeroen, you got a copy?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Jeroen. Jeroen, what do you have to do to put both races, the sprint race, and get a good finish in any of the sprint races?
Well, maybe start from the pit lane. I don't know. I really don't know. It's a bit of a crash fest sometimes, and honestly, it's sometimes a bit tough as well to take the sprint races serious. And I know it's a bit rough to say, but yeah, like you said, what do you have to do to actually get a good result in here?
Yeah, well, if you look at the replay, you can see that Juni Silvasti is either very, very lucky and you are extremely unlucky, or he's doing something that you're not doing, because he seems to manage much better in the sprint races than you do. You dominated the first race, the feature race, and there was no question that you were the best in that race. And you come to the sprint race and you just get off the line and you just get hammered from all sides.
Yeah, exactly. I think in a lot of situations, and it's down to sense, so to say, to smart and being smart. And Silvasti is very smart with the lines he takes. But to a certain extent, I would completely agree that it's sometimes more down to being a bit more skilled here and there. Silvasti has got the upper hand on me in that case in the sprint race. But it has happened so many times that you do start to wonder, is it purely down to having the skill, and is it more down to luck maybe?
Yeah, so just in particular in this race, you did manage to get through the melee that happened in the very first lap, but then you seem to have a slowdown or something, and then guys just piled into you from behind.
Exactly. Yeah, I got a slowdown after turn 1. Because I had to cut the first corners. There was, I don't know, there were cars flying. It was more like a spaceship battle than the cars fighting on track. But you get a slowdown because of it. And I was like, where do I slow down? Because it's a relatively short run from turn, 3 to turn 4 to the chicane.
Yeah.
And I had 3 seconds or something like that, 3 seconds slowdown. So I thought, where do I do it? Where do I do it? And then I thought it was the right place. But, I don't know. I just got hammered, like you said.
Yeah. Well, 2 more rounds to go. And we're just going to wish you all the best for the next 2 rounds because you are obviously a great talent in this car, my friend. And we really enjoy watching you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Bill, that's it for our champion driver, Jeroen Kwekel, the Earthquake. And back to you, sir.
Boy, Jeroen needs a job in diplomacy somewhere. Get him a job in the United Nations. You could hear it in his voice, the frustration, him being polite enough to say that Slavasi must have some type of skill, all the while saying, my gosh, he is lucky. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
It's, trying to put it nicely, but yeah, the Earthquake cannot get a break, really. That's to put it fairly. Hey, that's going to wrap it up for us. We'd like to thank everybody here on the Apex Online Racing for organizing the Formula Renault 2.0 League and for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We know you have a lot of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying GSRC. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen that we use on the broadcast. The original music you heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Eckelm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact them. Hey, the AOR returns next week, man. There is no rest for the weary. February 24th for round 11. And this is going to be from the shorter east configuration at Motegi. You want lap traffic to be a factor? Boy, come and see us next week. GSRC will be there. We hope you guys come along to watch the doubleheader action. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times of upcoming broadcasts, or to arrange GSRC to broadcast a race of your own, your best bet is www.globalsimracing.com. Well, that makes sense. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at, you guessed it, Global Sim Racing Channel. And now, before we close up shop, on behalf of my mic mate, Richard Losper, our director, the doctor of pits topology himself, I'm Jed Yaman, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.